Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. These art lessons are taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I hope you have fun, create imaginative works of art, and make sure you share them with someone because, after all, the visual arts are meant to be seen.
Hello, Cape artists, and welcome back to the Heart of a Viking and our countdown to summer. So now we are on day 8 more school days until summer break. How exciting. And in our episode today, we're going to be making a mobile. This is the first time we've made a mobile in a while. So a mobile is a piece of artwork that hangs or dangles, and there are things that rotate around. So when I was thinking about a mobile, I wanted to make a mobile with us at some point, and I was thinking about the number 8. The first thing that popped into my mind were the 8 planets in our solar system. So that's going to be our subject for today. So we're going to be making a solar system mobile. I'm super excited to teach you all kind of cool things about the different planets and to create our mobile together. So let's grab our thinking caps, our art supplies, head over to our art creating space as we begin our solar system mobile.
The sun is approximately 4.6 billion years old. The connection and the interaction between the sun and the earth drive the seasons, wind currents, weather, climate, radiation belts, and aurorae. The sun is a star, and it's the only one we can see during the daytime. When we look at the night sky, we see endless dots of light. Every one of them is a star, just like our sun. The sun is 109 times greater than the diameter of our planet. The sun is located in the center of the solar system. It's a nearly perfect sphere of hot plasma, essentially a hot ball of glowing gases. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Out of all the terrestrial planets, Mercury is the smallest. It's also the smallest planet in the whole solar system. The surface of Mercury is similar to the Moon. It's the most heavily cratered planet, and that means that it hasn't been geologically active for many years. Though it's the closest planet to the sun, temperatures on Mercury are both hot and cold. During the day, Mercury's average surface temperature can reach 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and at night, Mercury's temperature reaches negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Venus is the second planet from the sun and the 6th largest planet in the solar system. Venus and Mercury are the only planets in the solar system that do not have a moon. Venus is the hottest planet. The average temperature on Venus is about 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's enough to melt the metal lead. Venus is the second brightest object in the sky after the moon and the sun. One day on Venus lasts about 243 Earth days. That's the slowest rotation of any planet. Venus has mountains, valleys, and tens of thousands of volcanoes. The highest mountains are on Venus. Scientists have researched and estimated that our Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun and it's our home planet. In 1 year, the Earth rotates like a spinning ball about 366.25 times. They're known as an Earth day. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun and the 5th largest planet in the whole solar system. It's currently the only known location where life is present. Only 3% of Earth's water is fresh water. 97% of it is salt. Mars is the most widely searched planet for life, inspiring many works of fiction. Mars is the 4th planet from the sun and is the 2nd smallest planet of the whole solar system. The average temperature on Mars is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Mars is widely known as the red planet. Its reddish appearance is caused by the presence of rusty iron in the ground. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the sun and the biggest planet of our whole solar system. Jupiter also has a 3-ring system, but it's much smaller than Saturn's. Jupiter has a total of 79 confirmed moons. In a way, Jupiter is the solar system's vacuum cleaner. Because of its powerful gravitational pull, it attracts many of the comets and asteroids that might hit other planets instead. Saturn is the king of the moons, having a total of 82 confirmed moons. There are probably more out there that we just don't know. Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun with the largest planetary rings in the solar system. It is the 2nd largest planet in the solar system after Jupiter. Saturn has the lowest density of all the planets. It is lighter than water. If you placed it in water, the planet would float. Saturn doesn't have a solid surface. It is enveloped by swirling gases. Uranus rotates in the opposite direction of most other planets, from east to west. It's also the only planet known to rotate on its side. Uranus has 13 known rings surrounding, but they're difficult to observe. Uranus has 27 moons orbiting it. There are many more, but they're all very small. Uranus has the coldest planetary atmosphere in the solar system. Temperatures are on the average around negative 371 degrees. The reason why Uranus is blue is due to its presence of methane. Uranus has been visited only once by an aircraft, named Voyager 2. Wind speeds on Neptune are among the fastest recorded in the solar system. Neptune's average surface temperature is around negative 353 degrees. Neptune has a total of 6 ring systems surrounding it. Some of them contain ring arcs or clusters of dust particles. Neptune also has 14 moons. Neptune's color is believed to be influenced by the presence of methane on its atmosphere, but there's also an unknown factor contributing to this. Neptune has a powerful magnetic field. It's 27 times stronger than on Earth. I'll tell you what, Cape Artists, I learn something new every time I teach a new project to all of you too. So today we're learning about the solar system and we're creating our own mobile. Let's see what we need to get started. Alright, so for our project today, we're going to need everything here. We'll need some coloring supplies like markers or colored pencils or crayons. We'll be needing an eraser and a pencil. We'll need a ruler, some string or yarn, 2 pipe cleaners, some scissors, some tape, and maybe 2 pieces of heavier paper called cardstock, and then something to protect your table like newspaper. In addition, you're going to be needing some round objects from around your house. We'll be needing something that measures 4 inches across the top. We'll also need something that measures 3 inches across the top. We'll also need something that measures 2 inches across. Also something that measures about 1.5 inches across. And something that measures about 1 inch across. Whatever supplies you can find will be fine. And even if the measurements aren't exactly, some of mine weren't exactly right either, but as long as they're kind of close to those numbers, then everything will work out perfect. All right, so we're going to start with your object that measured 4 inches. And I'd like for you to trace it in the top left corner, just like I am. Make sure it's all the way on your paper, but trace it right in the top left corner. And then move over a little bit and trace a second one, only 2. These are going to be your Sun and your Jupiter. Okay, so we're going to start by coloring the Sun. You can use whatever crayon, colored pencil, marker that you would like, and probably in some kind of a yellow or a yellow-orange sort of color, something to make it look warm, just like the actual Sun. Then once it's all colored in, I'd like for you to cut it out. And once it's been cut out, I'd like for you to flip it over and color the opposite side. So we're coloring both sides. I was using my newspaper there to protect my table, but then I realized some of the newsprint was actually getting on the opposite side of my Sun, and I didn't want that. So I put that over to the side, and I'm just being very careful as I go around my edges. Alright, so now that the Sun is all done, I'm just going to go ahead and put that aside, and I'm going to move over to my Jupiter. So Jupiter's going to be kind of on the orange side with some darker orange stripes going across it, a little bit of a light tan or an orangey brown sort of color, and some blue filling in the rest of the space. Then of course the steps are also the same. Cut it out, flip it over, and repeat those same colors on the opposite side. You'll notice I'm putting down a white piece of paper now to protect my area. I was still a little bit concerned about the ink transferring off of the newsprint, so I decided to use a white piece of scrap paper. Alright, so now I need some 3-inch circles. So this was my 3-inch container. I'm going to flip it upside down, and I need 2 3-inch circles. One for Saturn and one for Uranus. So we'll start with Uranus. It's going to be the one on the left here, and it's mostly a blue planet. There are some different shades of blue, so sometimes I'll press a little harder with my colored pencil and sometimes a little lighter to get those different shades. Really, it's really imperfect. There's no exact way to do it. Then cut it out, flip it over, and repeat. And now we're off to Saturn. So Saturn is another planet that is 3 inches, but this one's going to have some extra rings added to it. So I'm going to draw those rings first by making a line that curves around the edge, sort of curving down across the front of the planet, and then hook up and around on the other side. Then I'll double that line to make it look like a floating ring around the planet. Cool optical illusion. Alright, so Saturn is going to be pictured with some purples, maybe a little light pink, some oranges, some tans, and some yellows. So I'm just going to use the colors that I see in my Saturn planet and try to imitate those colors too. Then of course, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and cut out that Saturn shape, flip it over, and repeat. I'm also just going to color in these little extra negative spaces black. Instead of trying to cut them out, I decided to go ahead and fill them in with black. Just a little bit more of a simple solution, and I thought it would make it look a little bit more neat, so the craftsmanship would be better improved as opposed to cutting them out. Okay, now we're ready for our 2-inch circle. So this is my 2-inch circle. I'm going to go ahead and put it down, and I'm going to trace it 3 times this time. Try to put the tracings close together so that they take up as small amount of space as possible, so we have room for the last 2 planets after this. So we're heading to Mars first. Mars is a reddish-orange planet, where it looks like the colors are exploding from the center. There are also some dark spaces, so I'm going to use a little bit of black to make it look a little dark in some of the spots. And then of course, cut and repeat on the opposite side. Okay, so we'll get our 2-inch circles back, and on the next one it's going to be planet Earth. So I'm going to start by drawing some of the land masses that are on Earth, and I'll be using green and blue to color in our planet. And like the others, we're going to finish coloring, then cut, flip, and repeat. Alright, up next is Neptune. 2 shades of blue is what you'll need for Neptune. A lighter blue and a darker blue. And same steps as before. Color the front, cut, and repeat on the other side. Alright, so now we need a piece of paper scraps and our circle that is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take my 1.5 inch circle, place it on whichever piece of my scrap it fits on best, and trace around it. I only need 1 of this size. Alright, so we're off to Venus. Venus is a planet that has reds and oranges, a little bit of black and maybe some tan, and I'm going to be using the colors in the same way I've done all the other planets. Color first, cut it out, flip it over, and repeat. Can you believe we're about to start our last planet, which is Mercury? For Mercury, we're going to need our scrap back and our last circle shape. This one should measure 1 inch, and then we're going to trace only one of them. And then for Mercury, we need some tans, maybe kind of a yellowish tan as well. And then we're going to color the front side, cut it out, flip it over, repeat for the last time. Alright, so now we're going to play with our planets a little bit, and I'd like for you to place them in order according to their distance from the sun. So, of course, put the sun down first. Then next I'd like for you to place Mercury, then Venus, followed by planet Earth, then Mars, then Jupiter, then Saturn, then Uranus, and finally, little blue Neptune. Okay, so next I'd like for you to keep these in order if you can. I kept mine in order and just sort of pushed them off to the side as I prepared the next portion, which is cutting the strings that I will hang the little planets from. So whatever you do, keep them in this particular order. Okay, so now I'm going to cut 9 pieces of string. Yes, I know this entire project is about the number 8, but we have the sun in our solar system as well, so we need a piece of string for him. So we actually need 9 pieces of string. Now I'm going to cut mine so that they gradually get a teeny bit longer each time. I just thought it might be interesting for my final mobile to have my different planets hanging at different levels. But this is 100% up to you. I honestly don't think it matters the lengths of your pieces of string or yarn. So as long as you have 9, it'll be fine. It doesn't matter what length they actually are. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and get my sun. It was my first star that I'm going to put on a piece of string, and a small piece of tape. I like the length of tape that I chose here, but I wish it was thinner, so I went ahead and ripped mine in half so it was a thinner piece of tape. Now I'm going to move my strings a little bit, keeping them in order though, and I'm not going to actually put my sun on my shortest length of string. Again, it doesn't matter. You can put your sun on your longest length of string, or if all your strings are the same size, then it doesn't matter which one you put your sun on. Alright, so there's my sun, one little piece of tape holding the string on. Then I'm going to keep working down through the solar system, working a little bit away from the sun each planet I get to, attaching my little piece of tape and my little piece of string. Okay, so now I'm going to put those aside for a moment, and I'm going to get my 2 pipe cleaners and I'm going to create a circle out of them. This is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to go ahead and line my 2 pipe cleaners up and twist the 2 ends together. And I always like to bend it to the side so it doesn't poke anybody. And then get the other 2 ends and twist them together so that when it's all together, it forms a circle shape. Eventually just play with it. The more you play with it, the more round you can make it. This is a small wire inside, remember, so you're in charge. You make it how you want it to be. Okay, once it's all in the shape that you want it to be, you're going to grab one planet at a time. Again, I'm going to keep mine in order. I have them all stacked up here in order. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Neptune. That was my smallest planet furthest from the sun. And I'm going to tie it to my circle shape of pipe cleaners. If tying this is tricky for you, don't forget you can always ask an art assistant to see if they are available to help you tie these little knots. But we're going to tie a knot for each of the planets, working our way around our pipe cleaner circle.
wow, so cool. Okay, we need one more piece of string. This piece of string is going to get tied to our pipe cleaner circle as well, but it's going to be what we can hang our mobile from. So we can actually, hang this from the ceiling and it can hang down. So I need to tie my new length of string a little bit to the left side and then the other side to the right side. Now, this is a bit of a tricky task because we have to consider balance. Some of these planets are bigger, which means they weigh more, and some are smaller, which means they weigh less. So when I pick this up from my string, once I get it tied, I might find that my mobile is way off balance, and I might have to be able to slide my little piece of string from the left to the right to try and get it to balance. It's all about experimentation at this point. This is kind of a science experiment. And then once you get it to balance, you'll have a beautiful hanging mobile. Now, I mentioned all that business about balance because when I first hung mine up, it was way not balanced. It was tipping over to the one side like crazy. So I had to just adjust that my little piece of string and be patient as I tried to figure it out. But once I got it and it was hanging there, I thought it looked so cool. I love the different lengths of string and the different planets. I hope yours turns out just as amazing. And I cannot wait for you to upload some photos onto Artsonia so that I can see them. All right, well, I hope you had a great time today. I hope you learned a lot about the planets. I know I actually did during this project too. And I can't wait to see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Artsonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.